All right, welcome back. This is the second video on doing maps in Tableau. In this short video, we're going to walk through changing the base map and doing a second visualization that's just more conventional. Let's do a histogram of that square footage variable just to have a second worksheet to work with for the third video, which is going to be assembling a dashboard. So let's talk about adding base maps. You can tell the base map, there is a base map on here already. It's a little faint, but you can see certainly a river. You can see a few buildings. It's not a particularly good one. It's pretty much a blank canvas in this case. What we want to do is think about how can we add in a second video, or add in a base map here. And you go into the map field and you can see here you've got background maps and it gives you lots of different options. So let's do the normal one. You can see it just darkens some of those buildings, things like that, right? If you wanted to look at some of the other options, let's look at streets. I believe these are just the Mapbox base maps now. These look pretty much like that. And now when you zoom in, you can see where these are located. Here's the UGA campus. We're looking at these two neighborhoods right here. It's a little bit helpful. And so you can kind of play around to see what options there work for you, see what you like best. The catch with this one is we're actually using historic data, and it's for a neighborhood that's now been redeveloped to be part of the university. There was some demolition and forced displacement of the folks who lived there. And so what we want to do is use a historic base map that we've already digitized and pulled up to Mapbox. So let me show you what that process would look like. I'm going to pull over a window here. This is the Mapbox website. That's a separate kind of set of tutorials. But if I go to my studio account, you can see there's a couple different maps I've already uploaded that have raster tiles. This is one that's a historic map of from the time period. This is actually the region that we're looking at for the redevelopment that we're looking at. Now, if I wanted to pull in and use this as a base map, all I have to do in Mapbox, if I go under Share, if I go under Third Party, you'll see there's actually Tableau listed here. I'll go ahead and copy that, minimize it. So when I come back to this map, I can go under Map again and look at background images. I've actually got one there already. So let's go under Manage Maps under Background Maps. And then you can just add it right here. So I click on Add. I want to use Mapbox Maps. So you see there's some real integration between these two softwares already. We're going to call it Linentown Base Map. And then I just paste that URL that I copied from Mapbox. It'll automatically detect all the things that it wants here. And there it is. Pretty easy, right? You can see the base map right there. It works pretty well. So if you want to use a different kind of base map, you can do that. So that's base maps. Real quick, let's just talk about if you wanted to do a separate worksheet. So I'm going to add in here another worksheet. I clicked on the plus button for the little graph thing, and that creates a new worksheet. And let's just do a histogram of square feet. Easy way to do that would be to pull it over again just on the workspace. This is just a number, right? But then you'll see here, histogram is actually in bold. I can click on that and it will automatically create this histogram of square footage. You can see there's a couple of outliers. It's pretty negatively skewed here, that there's 78 parcels that are under whatever this breakpoint is, about 150. And so again, you could do some work by that if you wanted to. If I wanted to say compare Linentown versus non-Linentown, I don't have that in here, but I could use some other kind of categorical measure, right, that I wanted to use with this. If I want to change the name, I can click on the axes. I can click on the axis here, click on Edit Axis, and down here under Axis Titles, I could call it Count of Parcels, right? And it automatically changes over there, and then the square footage could go here as well. So that's a pretty straightforward thing. There's lots of different ways you can do this. If I wanted to match square footage, this is not going to make any sense, but square footage versus parcel numbers, right? Doesn't really make sense. Again, it does this automatic sum that you saw in the first video. If I change both of these to dimensions, what I'm going to end up with is this scatter plot. And then you could begin to say, color the scatter plot by residence name. So if I take residence and put it in here, I'll go ahead and add in members. And you get here color-coded by whatever the resident's name was at the time. It's a really flexible tool. So we've got another piece of this done. The last video, we'll walk through assembling this together into a dashboard and publishing it.